What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the BDE Sports Talk Podcast. Here to give you the latest scoop in the world of sports in the great state of Michigan and the great city of Detroit. I am one of your hosts, Bill, along with co-hosts, the D and E of the BDE, Dean and Eddie. Fellas, how we feeling tonight?
Feeling good. As always.
Feeling like a pelican.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well, let's just get into it. Let's start with some breaking news out of Detroit. As of a couple hours ago, we are recording on Thursday. Detroit has found their new man in New Orleans GM Trajan Langdon. Langdon has been the GM for 5 years in New Orleans and will now assume the role of president of basketball operations. Understandably so, reactions on social media are mixed. I've seen some who really like the hire. I've seen some who don't. I saw one podcast where one guy was happy he was leaving New Orleans. Kind of breaking this on you guys, but you guys have any initial thoughts? I mean, we'll probably talk more about this next week, but breaking news.
I think I'm with I think I'm with the internet on. I'm very 50-50 on it. You look at the Pelicans and they have a young core. And they're not bad when they're healthy, but they really haven't done much since he's been, they've improved, but they haven't been, like good playoff caliber type of team that you would worry about. Unless they're all healthy, which is rare because Zion's always hurt anyway. But, I'd seen some things, like I was just reading up on it right before this, and I'd seen that he's pretty much got full reign. I mean, as we expected. Even to a point to where they're willing to eat that contract with Monty if he wants to fire him. So, I mean, it could be a complete reboot. I don't think he's going to, because that's a lot of money to eat. I mean, but it's not his money. You know what I mean? But if he's giving him the green light to do it, maybe he goes a completely different direction with his staff, his guys. So we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward.
I don't even think he gets rid of Troy.
Weaver? Really? What gives you that thought?
I got my reasons. Eddie, you got any initial thoughts? You may.
No, my initial thought is, I'm more 75-25. Right now, I'll sit 75. Don't like it. And I have some reasons for that. I mean, the Pelicans haven't really done a whole lot with what they've had in general already. I'm not saying I'm at 25 because I'm not saying he's not qualified for the job. And I think he is. I really think he is. And I'm willing to give him a shot. I really, really am. But if you don't come in on day one and fire Troy Weaver, and I'm with Bill, I don't think he's going to, which would sits me at 75, then I'm not really in. I was probably more 50-50, and then the one thing I do know about him is that, again, as with we had 10, 11 people throughout the organization, is an Arn Tellem, a former Arn Tellem. Is that what you're going to bring up?
Yeah.
Yeah, a former Arn Tellem client, which is it's more of the that's what makes it feels like more of the same. And the guy that they're projecting to go to the Pistons, Bazelis, is a Michael Tellem client. So it's like, can we just get out of this? Like, I'm getting tired of just hearing the name Arn Tellem, and it's the fingerprints. It's out of control, and that's the one thing. Like, if he wasn't connected to him, I probably would be sitting at 50-50 and then see what happens with Troy Weaver. But because of that, I'm already sitting on a negative side. I'm like, now, why did you even hire that firm to make the hire? Obviously, anybody who gave a crap didn't want the job, apparently. I mean, we were talking about Connolly from Minnesota. We weren't. Well, I don't know if we did or not. I don't think so. But Connolly from Minnesota was the biggest name. obviously that dude's not coming here. That would have been sweet. That would have made me. I was prepared to say I'm not as angry at Todd Gores because he's at least like he's just a regular CEO. Like if he had hired Connolly, that was going to be the most expensive guy you could get for a president. He got Monty Williams the year before. It's the most expensive coach you could have got at the time. So like to him, it's like, oh, I just hire the best managers, and then whatever happens underneath, which, as we know, doesn't always work out. But I could give him credit for thinking he's doing what's worked for him before. But now it's just, why hire the firm if you're going to hire the guy that Arn Tellum's probably like, you should hire this guy,
Right.
So what's the point? But that's really all I got to say about it. I'm going to withhold judgment. If he fires Weaver, I'm going to be on board with the kid. I don't think he's going to.
Just based on what what we've seen and them not getting rid of Troy Weaver during the season, it's starting to look like Arn Tellum's like the Jafar in Aladdin.
Yeah, no, he's got an old Cobra staff next to Todd Gores.
Yeah. Like what is going on? The princess will marry me
pretty soon,
Jeez,
Arn Tellum, yeah, he's gonna be in control of all of Gores' businesses.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, that was what I was gonna bring up, but I wanted to see if you had that on there. Real quick before we get going, but continue on. Let's get into Adobo Boy real quick.
Get into it.
Let's get into it.
Mouth
Adobo
first.
Oh yeah.
It could be hands first.
Ooh. As a Filipino?
Be creative.
Come on now. Hey, dude, I eat it. However, if they put that in front of me, true. I'm gonna eat it. However, they let me eat it.
That's true. Adobo Boy is the official sponsor of the BD Sports Talk podcast. We are three Filipinos with a appetite for delicious Filipino food, and Adobo Boy delivers just that with their amazing food and vibes that are unmatched in the food industry. Dean and I. We went around a month ago now. Eddie came with us again. It was an awesome time. Ace and Jackie made you feel right at home. Food was absolutely amazing. Not only do they have delicious food, they also go against the grain of a traditional restaurant and tinker with their menu to bring you an amazing variety of Filipino cuisine. Their menu rotates weekly, so there's always a reason to come back to try more authentic Filipino food. But one dish you can always count on is that delicious Red's Pork Adobo Bowl, which by the time you see this will be on to next week. But right now it's the chicken adobo. So, But I'm assuming next week they usually only have it off for 1 week, and it's when they do the chicken adobo. So either way, both iconic Filipino dishes.
Yeah, if you can get in there while the chicken adobo is going, get in there.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I agree. Dean, tell us about that pork adobo that you love so much.
I was gonna say I don't have a description written down for the chicken, so I'm just gonna assume it's the same. And
They're probably braised similarly.
It's probably I think it's tender pork braised in soy sauce and vinegar on a bed of rice with cucumbers, Jackie's achara or papaya salad. And a fried egg on top. It's salty, it's sweet, it's delicious. I eat it separately as Ace recommends. Bill and Ed both mix it up. I suggest buying 2 just to try it out for yourself. It's worth it.
You get me so excited every single time. Once you put that cucumber on there, the fried egg, you kind of turn me off to it, but that's just me. Everyone else loves fried eggs, so that papaya salad though, oh man,
tangy.
He gets bricked right back up.
Right back up. So if you are into trying new and different food or just like some amazing adobo and vibes, stop into Adobo Boy where owners Ace, Jackie, and Red are amazing people who genuinely care about your experience there. Eddie, if you're going there, there's got to be a discount, right? Nah, not at Adobo Boy.
Oh, Bill. You'd be wrong again, my friend.
No,
That's
boy.
there is a sweet little discount when you show up to Adobo Boy. You know, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna feel the vibes, you're gonna take in the sense of the amazing food being cooked. And then when you order, you say BD Sports Talk Podcast, and they're gonna give you 5% off. 5% off just by saying
5%.
BD Sports Talk Podcast at the register on literally and legitimately top class food that you're going to be thankful that you got. And then on top of that, you're going to be excited that you also got it for 5% less. So just say BD Sports Talk Podcast at the register. They'll give you 5% off. You can't beat it.
No, you can't. And you're probably wondering if you're listening to this for the first time. Adobo Boy is open Tuesday to Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, and 5 to 7:30 for dinner. And on Saturday, same schedule except on dinner, they're open till 8:30. Don't be rude. Get there early. If you get there late, you're probably gonna get the last pickings. Just saying. Food's that delicious. So get there early. Adobo Boy is located at 3740 28th Street Southeast, Kentwood, Michigan, inside the amazing food hall where Amazing Myanmar Restaurant and Brunch and Rice are in there as well. To us, Adobo Boy is the main attraction. Get there, get happy, get fed. It's always better at Adobo Boy, especially 5% off.
Mhm.
So moving on, wanted to ask you guys, who is to you one upcoming free agent from this year's Red Wings squad that you personally would want most back on the team next season if you could only choose one?
Hmm.
And we'll start with Dean.
Oh, the pressure. Well, I was looking into it a little bit, and I mean, I didn't realize how small the salary cap was for the NHL. I mean, in comparison to the other sports, because like I was gonna say the Pistons, but the Red Wings only have like 26 and a half in cap space right now. So you assume a good chunk of that's going to go to Raymond and Sider. At least you would hope so, right?
About 16. Total.
Roughly somewhere in that
Yeah.
somewhere in that range, right?
Mhm.
So now you're down to 11 mil. So I don't really know like what the like high end is for these guys, but for me, I think the most important, I guess I would go with Kane. Would probably be the one guy that I would want them to bring back the most. He's a good facilitator. He has a little bit of a liability defensively, but I think what he does on the offensive end makes up for what he somewhat lacks on the defensive end. He may lose a step or two. I mean, I know he's still kind of coming off that injury, but I mean, he looked really good that 50 games that he had with the Wings this year. I think he's a pretty big key to what they would do moving forward this year, especially because obviously a lot of these guys aren't going to be able to come back. And even if they did, you're running the same team anyway. So you kind of want to make these changes, bring these young guys up, and then have a guy like Kane on the squad just to kind of mentor and, just show them how it's done on a day-to-day basis. So I would say Patrick Kane would probably be the guy that I would want them to re-sign the most.
Good answer. Good answer.
Nice.
Eddie?
No, I don't. Kane's out. Kane's gone because we're gonna sign Stamkos anyway. But as
Same
far as
concept.
the guys that we got, same concept, except better. Maybe. You know, more
Just
of a
a
blue line to blue line player.
veteran
You
leader
know?
kind of guy is what they need. That I think more than anything.
Of the guys available, I'm going to go with Gossesbear. Yeah, he lacks pretty seriously on the defensive end, but you don't want to lose the 56 points he provided to the team, along with a team leading 29 power play points. He's not your ideal all around defenseman, but his scoring value is just now. We just can't lose that right now. I looked up an advanced metric that said the team controlled the puck 58.2% of the time he was on the on the ice, which is good. I mean, just comparing it to Cider, where the team controlled the puck 44.7% of the time. To be fair, Cider averaged 3 more minutes a game than Gossesbear, but still, I think that says something that I think he's usually on the ice in positions where we're controlling the puck, which is why he's out there in the power play. He was a great first defensive line power play guy, obviously, as he led the team in points and power play. But and again, with him lacking on the defensive end, you got to hope you bringing up a guy like Edvinson for the full year can help alleviate some of that when you sacrifice the points. If we don't re-sign Kane or even get Stamkos, I mean, we still have Casper in the system, and he's supposed to come up and kind of be a guy. And Nate Danielson is actually studding out right now too. So, I don't know how far away that kid is from being up. Probably at least another year, but
Do you think Gossesbear is going to be looking for a payday though?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Think-
So you talk about the cap, and it is a smaller cap. I mean, Cider, Raymond are probably going to get 8 a piece. It depends how long they sign them for.
Right.
But Gossesbear, he probably could go out and get some more cash at the end of the day. I don't know if he's most likely to come back, but I would say he's the one guy of the ones available that I would hope we could get back.
Right.
I think he provides the most overall value, and that's no knock to what Kane provided when he came in, because he definitely did. Dave Perron had his moments over the year. They'll have some. Christian Fisher is kind of a real nice bottom 6 guy, but it's Gossesbear. I just think the points, that's the whole thing I was hammering on. So I guess I'm just following my own trend where I was really hammering on they needed points, and he really brought that. And I mean, we got close to the playoffs. Wasn't enough, but yeah, that's why I'm there. The money, it's all fake, right? I mean, like, Illich can spend a little extra on the Red Wings if we go over the cap, because we're spending towards the bottom of the league in baseball. So like, we can even it out somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Gossesbear, if I add my druthers, that'd probably be the one guy of the 6 main ones that I'd want to see come back.
That's actually who I had as well. I even though I do like, I'm with you, Dean, on Patrick Kane too. I liked watching him play. That's my own selfish reasons as well.
Yeah.
I think you are onto something, Eddie, with Stamkos.
I like that too.
I would say probably between the two right now with Stamkos and Kane, I think the more likely one would be Stamkos.
Right. It makes sense.
Yeah.
If the money's there. Right. But like, I didn't realize they only had 26 available. Stamkos is coming off of, I think, $8 million. And he'll get that from somebody if he wants it. So
definitely.
Right.
So you talk about all 3 of those guys. That's 24 of the 26 right there.
Yeah.
If they sign the other guys for
coming
8.
up.
Yeah.
Casper and Danielson are coming up.
Soderblom. We'll just see what happens. But so I wanted to do a little segment here called Overreaction or not. Overreaction or not. I have 2 questions here that I sent you guys. Was interested to see what you guys thought. First one that I had listed here was overreaction or not. The Detroit Lions will win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. I almost said 2 years to make it closer to an overreaction, maybe, but I figured 3 years. You could argue either way. So, overreaction that they win in the next 3 years, hold that Lombardi, or not as much an overreaction as one would think.
I don't think that's an overreaction at all. I think with the signing of Goff, I think that kind of opens the window for what they're trying to do and how far away they think they, in that sense, like we're in that time window now. Because I mean, like we've talked about it before. I mean, they were 30 minutes away from being in the Super Bowl. So, and then you re-sign Goff to this, in basically an elite quarterback contract. This is the window. I mean, you've signed your core guys, you have your quarterback, you keep bringing in young talent, the defense is getting built up, and with all these really young legitimate guys, I mean, you're in that window now while these guys are on the rookie contracts because as we all know, I mean, they're not going to be able to re-sign all these guys, which is a good problem to have, but this is the window. You gotta take it while pretty much most of these guys are on a cheap deal, especially with Goff's contract being high and quarterback contracts. But I think the signing of Goff is the window of what we're trying to do here in the near future. Anyway, I'm not saying that they couldn't do it within the next 10 years, but 3-year window, that's definitely not an overreaction. I think that's conservative, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I don't think anybody would think that overreaction, honestly, right now. I mean, there's a hand of teams that can say the same statement. You go San Francisco, Baltimore, obviously Kansas City, Cincinnati, the Lions right in there with the mix with those guys. But I'll play devil's advocate on it. There's been a total of 58 Super Bowls. How many Lions won? How many have been in? Ask Philly if they thought after 22-23 season if they were going to win the Super Bowl within the next 3 years. Pretty much everybody would have said it's certainly not an overreaction. But at this moment, it doesn't feel like they're going to win this season or the following. I mean, it doesn't feel that way. They could, but it doesn't feel that way. So we fast forward 1 year, and a statement that would have got laughed at for saying Philly wasn't going to win Super Bowl in 3 years is kind of an overreaction now. Doesn't seem like one at all. I mean, given the history of the franchise and having never once stepped foot in a Super Bowl game outside of being a spectator, you could say, yes, absolutely. You're reacting to a team that made the NFC Championship game and blew it, dropped the ball, couldn't finish. Another team had a big lead that lost it all. The Falcons to Brady in the Super Bowl. They probably felt sure they'd be back. They haven't sniffed it since.
Right.
I don't think it's an overreaction, but there's an easy case to say that it is because you go with history, you go with other team success, you go with how many teams feel that they have a 3-year window also right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's to say the Lions are one of those teams? San Francisco is a great example. They've had an elite team for a few years, and they just cannot get over the hump. Maybe they will this year. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, and on paper, we talked about it last week with Chicago. Chicago, Caleb Williams.
We could
probably
going
to be pretty good. Yeah, So I mean, I'm with both of you. I don't think it's an overreaction, but it's very for everything you said, Ed. I mean, you got teams that they were there and haven't been back since. Philly was a great example. I didn't even think of Atlanta, but I mean, you got.
They had it all that year.
Yeah,
with
Jordan
a huge
Love
lead,
possibly coming into his own,
possibly sitting out. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's wanting this contract extension. He's talking about he won't answer whether he would sit out or not, which obviously means he might sit out without a. I mean, it's smart for him because he might suck next year.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
sorry, Bill.
On an 8-game stretch.
Yeah.
Right.
You know. So yeah, I've
Get
seen
that
a lot of
golf
I've seen a lot of Packers fans just thinking they're gonna season sweep it next season. It's just like, whoa, hey, let's slow it down a little bit.
So, I like hearing that.
Detroit got better on defense. Just saying, I know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no,
it's all dog up in this mug.
and then again, with San Francisco being still as good as they are, and you talking about them getting over the hump, well, that leaves a team out, out of the NFC. So
I mean, Philly could resurge too. I mean, they got the weapons. Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. I mean, one year you're at the top, next year you're in the middle. I mean, it's it's not because we
NFL.
suck. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the other teams are that good.
Yeah.
So,
and the division's only gotten stronger, for the Lions.
exactly.
No doubt. No doubt.
So, all right. The second overreaction or not. The Tigers will fire AJ Hinch if the Tigers finish the season with a losing record. And Eddie, we'll start with you.
I didn't. I made my response different than that because I didn't realize this was part of overreaction. I just thought it was a general question. I mean, that depends on the record, right? For Hinch, I mean, if they go, if they only win 40 total games from here on out, 17 more and lose the rest, then yeah, I mean, he's probably gone. The gist of
do you want me to give you a scenario? Sure. Let's say they finish 8 games below 500, fourth in the division.
No, I don't. I think that would be a big mistake. And honestly, he's been kind of absolved from a lot of the blame this year because you look to the owner who spends sorts of bond league and payroll, Scott Harris, who hasn't made the moves necessary to give the club some hitting. And Hinch seems like he's getting the most out of the club that he's been given. That's how I feel about it. He annoyed me the other day, though, after the Kansas City sweep or swept by Kansas City when a reporter asked him about the series and how this was the first time this season that they just didn't seem competitive in a series. And Hinch disagreed. He said, I thought we were competitive and, through that. And I get having your guys back. Right. But, sometimes you got to let them have it a little. Like our best years for us were Leland, and he would have defended his guys, but said, yeah, we sucked. We got our asses kicked out there. We didn't play well enough. But Leland knew it'd be insulting, I think, to the fans to look at us in the face and say, yeah, we're competitive in a series where we never held a lead and lost by 5 runs twice and 7 runs in another. I don't think Hinch should be fired if they have a losing record because I just don't think he's got all the support he needed to have a big time winning club. We were talking about JD Martinez in the offseason. He's starting to light it up. Another guy, I don't know if I brought him up. I had him written down. I don't know if I brought him up, was Matt Chapman, a third baseman. And he's got like a 3.1 WAR. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that would be, I think, 2 WARs better than the best on our team. And he was out there up until spring training. I mean, it just, and he started out the season sucking, but I mean, whatever, like a lot. So did we, but now he's lighting it up. It's just, there were guys out there, Cody Bellinger. I could go over that a million times, but it doesn't matter now. So yeah, no, to me, it would be an overreaction that he got fired. I'm not sure I'd be surprised. And it would say a lot about what they got going on above, up in the front office.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Eddie. It's tough to it would come down to a scenario if they're so bad and just lose out. I mean, they lose the next, however 100 games or whatever, then I mean, of course, you pretty much have to let them go. But the talent's just not there. And well, it's there, but it's just not the batting talent just isn't there. It's hard to win games when all you can really do is pitch. And like sometimes, like when you go into that series, like when they played the Royals, where it's a team that actually hits better at balls that are outside of the strike zone. And it's like if your pitchers can't paint the corners like that without them stretching at bats and getting hits just off these low and away pitches or like up and high, whatever it may be. You need the bats to get going, and they just couldn't do it. And you have all these young guys. You have some young guys on the team that just aren't performing well. I mean, you see Torques kind of got that home run bug off of him. Do you think that little Caesar celebration that he came up with is what is what made him go on that drought for a while?
Probably, dude. That thing's lame AF, dude.
Yeah,
Is it not? Like
he
that
put
is
so
just
much
terrible.
pressure on himself to raise.
Dude, if you
the
can't think of
pizza.
something, just get a home run chain, right? I mean, something that at least looks cool. I don't know.
What do you mean?
That is just
Pizza,
the
baby.
pizza. He probably, you know what? I'm sure Illich probably gave him some cash to do that or something. I don't,
He's like, every time you hit a home run and you raise that up, I'll give you. He's like, all right.
3 hot and
games later.
readies for free.
3 hot and readies, baby, for the team.
One
weekly
topping.
pizza party.
One topic.
one topic only. We can't afford that.
That's it. He's only worth $3 billion.
But yeah, no, I would say it would be an overreaction to let
Hinch
go. To let Hinch go for anything less than 20 games.
A shockingly
under
bad.
500. Yeah, it'd have to be pretty
Yeah.
like holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
For sure,
I
dude.
agree. I agree as well. So let's just get into it. The Tigers weekly update. Tigers went 2-6 over the last week since recording. Lost 4 straight to the Royals. Lost tonight 9-1. So, yeah, things aren't looking great. Javi did have a hit tonight, so
He's turning it on, baby.
That keeps his average over 200, getting hot at the right time.
He's getting hot. He's
That's so
Beef Stew
sad.
must be
dude.
working
That
out
is so
together.
sad.
Him and Beef Stew
We're
are
just-
getting progressing together.
That his improvement is just staying over 200. That is,
And unfortunately, that's not even
that's
the worst
terrible.
batting average on the team.
Yeah, you look through that. You look through that lineup tonight, and it's not good.
how'd
Not good.
Winfield do?
We want Velada.
He went 1 for 4. He went 1 for 4 tonight.
He's somebody I wanted to bring up too.
Velada?
Obviously, we've been talking about a little more over the last few weeks because he's been doing well. Wenzel, Perez. But the dude, he's been playing outfield, but he came up through the minors as an infielder. So, like, I know they're trying to teach him outfield, but fuck. Anyway, just put him in for Javi.
Javi had a hit tonight, though. Yeah. Not looking great on the old batting averages. So, fellas, kind of goes from our overreaction, but time to worry that the season's over before Memorial Day. 9.5 back.
It's a game.
I think it's over.
It's a game of stretches, right? You have to hit a hot streak. A game of streaks is what I should say.
Yeah.
Check your undies.
Check your undies. I'm always streaking. It's like I got a brown marker back there, you know.
Someone had commented on Facebook that the season was over, and I said, yeah, ain't no way to come back in that short 114 game span. You know,
true. We're not even a third. We're close.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting to be the tipping point. Right. Like we're getting close to
seeing what your team really is.
For sure.
Type of point.
I think we see it.
They can't bat. that's what it comes down to. They just can't hit the damn ball.
Boys can't swing.
They can't swing.
Maybe Torque should take that pizza thing out there and try it.
And you should see if Craig Monroe still got a little bit left in the tank, huh? Take him down from the booth. Let him swing.
What booth? Are you able to watch games?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about this. This has nothing to do with that. I'm sorry, but I was watching one of the games they played against the Royals where Kirk Gibson was commentating. Does it seem like he just absolutely freaking hates Benito? Benetti. That's what
he might. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's just his demeanor.
Yeah.
I think it's his demeanor, but like at the same time, it just like it just seems like Benetti just freaking just pokes at him the entire time, and he's just sitting there like, yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Gibson is a dude's dude.
And
I think Benetti is just some nerd, to him. So Gibbs is like, why do you get to talk about this?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I was watching. I was like, man, it really seems like he is annoyed with Benetti. Like he doesn't want to be there, like at all. Which might be true anyway.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching 9 dudes batting under 250, you wouldn't want to be there as well.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think it's a little bit Benetti too. Like, for as good as he is, like he can get a little over the top at times. I feel like.
I mean, something's got to entertain these people.
That's true. He's good. I'm not saying he's bad. It's just, sometimes I'm just like, whew. He just keeps coming out with the old zingers, huh?
It never stops, and that's what I think Kirk doesn't like.
Exactly. Yeah. SEMA loves it.
Kirk can't keep up.
They were doing like the
pissing him off.
Pick your stick thing right before, and Craig Monroe was commentating, and Benetti was just staring at him the whole time and like smiling, and Craig Monroe's like and like looking back at the camera, and like everybody's talking, Benetti's just still staring at him. I was like, this is weird, dude. I was like, what is going on right now? Stop staring at him. Like, this is weird.
It could have been like that lazy eye. I mean, are you sure?
No, he was like facing him like this the entire time, like just like.
Are you sure?
And oh yeah, and Craig was just sitting there like, and then looking, and then like look back at the camera while everybody's talking, but now he's still like, just like staring at him. I was like, this is freaking.
Maybe it was a joke they had before they got on.
I'm sure it was, but like he took it too far. He did it the entire time during the pick the stick thing, and it was weird. It made it weird, made it cringy. But in a sense of if it's time to panic,
yeah,
being a 9.5 back is never good, no matter how many games are left in the season. So I don't think it's time to panic just yet. But I mean, I think it's kind of. I think we kind of see where the team is heading in a sense of how they're batting, and I mean the pitching can only do so much. So. We'll see. I mean, if Javi can just turn it on,
that would make a huge difference.
Riley Green.
Yeah, Riley Green has had a rough run. Colt Keith is doing well.
He went.
He
over-
did-
He's I think he's been really turning it up. I feel like over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he went
Yeah,
4
no,
for
he
4
has
in one of
been
those
hitting well.
games.
So that's kind of nice to see. Because I was worried about him. I mean, who was it? But it's also like that's one of the guys you can give a little leeway to. They're like, okay, he hasn't
Right.
even been in the leagues. They signed him to the contract, so that's just extra pressure,
Right.
coming up. But he's starting to turn it up. Hopefully, I think once he stopped swinging for power and just started swinging to hit, it changed a lot.
Definitely.
He stopped getting all those big flyouts, and he was just hitting. It's like, yeah, just do that, please.
Yeah.
Please
Right.
do that. We need people on base, however we can get it. So I was really hoping that D-backs, obviously we all were hoping that D-backs series would bring a little momentum into the week. I think the Tigers are clearly reeling right now. I mean, they just lost 9-1, you said, Bill, tonight. After they had won 4 series in a row, they've now lost 5 of their last 6, and they've looked pretty rough in those 5 series they've lost, and it really hasn't been that close. I was saying they were going to need a big weekend against the Jays, but the Jays are starting off the weekend pretty big right now, apparently, to get back on track. But it feels like the wheels are falling off the bus entirely. During the good weekend against the D-back, someone had talked to me about it, trying to say like, "Oh, what's up now?" Because I was like, "Just wait, he's gonna suck." Talking about Javi, because I'm always dogging Javi, and I was like, "Just watch it. He's gonna revert to the mean. He just will. Every now and again, he'll have a good weekend, but he's always gonna get back to sucking, and his glove work isn't even that special at this point." His defensive runs saved above average is a -7. So what are we doing?
Woof.
Henry Malloy's having another nice year in Toledo. Jace Young has similar numbers. I don't know what we're waiting for. I don't think the time, like the contractual time for Jace Young, matters at this point now. So it's like this is again, these are guys they said at the beginning of the year, we're trying not to block these guys. What are we waiting on?
Yeah.
I say it every time. What are we waiting for? We're not doing it. They're not hitting. Nobody's hitting.
All right.
Give these guys a shot.
Might as well.
Yeah, but that's my gripe. Javi, I get it. They're paying him a ton of cash. Okay, but it's not getting anything. I'll tell you, it's definitely not putting more butts in the seats. You're not making money off the guy, and you're gonna get what you're getting.
Next week, I have a Javi Baez jersey on. Like, yeah, I'm not making any money on this guy.
Yeah. Brand new signed Javi jersey.
Brand new.
So
It's a Cubs jersey.
Oh well, hey.
Now
There
we're
you
talking
go.
here.
Yeah.
So they play the Blue Jays, like you said, Eddie, this weekend for 4. One Missouri tonight on Thursday, and then they play the Pirates at home for 2 before they go to Boston. So,
Oh yeah, and I think
Things
Skeens
are
and their other good pitcher for Pittsburgh are set to start against the Tigers for those
things are
games.
looking aces.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I hate ending on the Tigers update lately. This brings so much sadness. But
Better than a
Bless you,
Pistons
boys.
bless you, boys. Oh, bless
Get
you.
it going, please.
Get it going. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for watching tonight's episode. Sorry we had to bring the sadness to you at the end, but give us some comments. Give us some comments. I don't know why I said it like that. Comment below. Jeez, oh,
He
Pete.
sounds so desperate.
Comment below. For the love of God, please. Overreactions. Are the Lions going to win Super Bowl? Do the Tigers fire AJ Hinch? Let us know. Comments below. hit the like button, hit the subscribe. They're all right next to Eddie. There's a video from last week's episode if you want to watch it right there. Everyone, have a great week, and we will see you next time. BD Sports Talk Podcast.
Sports Talk.